What's shaking, everyone? Mainstream media is working overtime to censor and dehumanize anybody who could possibly have a right of center opinion now. You don't even have to say what they're telling everybody that you're actually saying in order for them to get rid of you. Because we've gotten to a point where there is such a fervor built up for the November elections that they've kicked up their censorship tenfold. And I've got several examples to go through in this video here, and I think I have a compelling case. But before we go any further, if you guys enjoy these videos and if you like my analysis and appreciate the research that I do, I'd really appreciate you dropping a subscribe or hitting that like button. It does a lot for me, and it's very inconsequential for you. So, and as always, if you have anything that you'd like to discuss, feel free to drop it down in the comments section below. I'm open for any sort of suggestions as well as any ideas on anything that you'd like for me to cover in the future. But let's just go ahead and dig right into this. From left-wing, I don't know what to properly call the Daily Beast, propaganda outlet? Because what they do is scarcely considered journalism, but this is just a perfect example of, well, what's going on right now. Oregon Sheriff's officer suspended for spreading rumors about Antifa arsonists. Antifa motherfuckers are out causing hell, and there's a lot of lives at stake, the deputy said, despite authorities' push to debunk the conspiracy theory. There's a video in the below article, which will be linked, of course, in the description as always, but let's just get through what the Daily Beast is framing this as. A sheriff's deputy in Clackamas County, Oregon, was suspended Saturday after the video showed him propagating baseless rumors that anti-fascist activists, they won't even call them Antifa, had started the wildfires now devastating the state and the rest of the West Coast. You've seen it in a couple of the videos that I posted back, especially the Cuties retrospective, which I'll link to right here, showing that, well, the sky in San Francisco is orange, and they've become that in which they've always hated. They become orange. Get it? Haha, over-explain the joke. Video shows the deputy, an unidentified bald man calling himself Mark, the guy you kind of see in the photo here, saying Antifa motherfuckers are out causing hell, and there's a lot of lives at stake, and there's a lot of people's property at stake because these guys got some vendetta. He also warns of Antifa and other crazy left-wing people attacking firefighters. I don't know about you, but adjacent to Clackamas County is Portland, where for over 100 interrupted nights there have been riots and attempts to burn down on multiple occasions the federal judicial building, as well as many reports of public defenders being hurt and injured. So this isn't some kind of conspiracy theory, some wacky idea. That's the video there. Please watch this. I'll break it down here in a second. The sheriff's officer was also heard in a different video posted by freelance journalist Melissa Lewis, counseling residents of Eagle Creek, 5 miles north of Estacada, on how to avoid legal trouble when defending their homes from Antifa. Hey, at least they dropped the name there. You have to prove it was seriously physical injury or death, the officer can be heard saying. Now you throw a fucking knife in their hand after you shoot them, that's on you. Good man. He said to the sound of laughter. Oh, beat me to it. I wouldn't let this shit happen in my neighborhood either, but be smart about it. What he's referencing is if Antifa breaks into your house and you shoot them dead because, oh geez, it's not exactly a, giant chasmatic leap that if they're breaking into your house, they're coming to do you bodily harm. So if you shoot them dead, yeah, at least claim self-defense. They will be armed, by the way, so, throwing a knife from the butcher block is a little redundant at that point, but a normal human being would agree with what he just said there. Craig Roberts, the Clackamas County Sheriff, said in a statement to Oregon Public Broadcasting, "As soon as I was made aware of this incident, I moved swiftly to place this deputy on leave while we investigate. The sheriff's office mission is to provide calm and safety, especially during unprecedented times such as these. I expect nothing less of our deputies, and I apologize to all in our community." Now, the big claim in this article was that apparently Sheriff Deputy Mark said that Antifa caused these fires. It's a 5-minute video that's here. I won't bore you all with playing it. What he says in the video is he references that Antifa has started fires in garbage cans, have started fires in certain areas. There's also a recent article that came out that there was a small wildfire that was quickly controlled and put out that was deliberately set by Antifa members. It's not hard to find out. Just type in Antifa wildfires Portland and the article will pop up right there. So he doesn't even say that the wildfires are caused by Antifa. And this guy gets placed on administrative leave and a investigation comes out because of it. Hopefully nothing happens to him because he didn't do anything wrong. He's talking to this amateur journalist in the video here, and he's just discussing everything that he's seen, evidence, videos, and photos that he's been provided, and incidents that he's had to report to. He's not doing anything. He's not saying anything that is a conspiracy theory, but Daily Beast is a part of the mainstream narrative, and this is what they're pushing, and it's causing real-world harm. And social media is right there behind them. The two big ones, Facebook and Twitter, obviously. They're doing their damnedest to censor any sort of right-wing or right-wing adjacent opinions, and hey, it starts with, well, right now the biggest one, QAnon. Facebook bans more than 790 groups tied to QAnon, plus more than 980 militia-linked groups. Now, this is direct USA Today. You can't get more mainstream than that. Their little video here says, "Trump dodges QAnon conspiracy theory question." What the president does in this video is he's asked about QAnon in some form or fashion. He says, "I don't know anything about QAnon. I hear that they like me, and hey, good for them." He doesn't dodge anything. He just doesn't know about QAnon. And to be completely honest, other than I think it's some sort of an extension of the Pizzagate controversy that happened 4 years ago, I don't know much about it. So I can't really comment on it, but the way that it's spun out is that, oh, Trump supported QAnon because he didn't come out and immediately denounce it. And that's not true. If you don't know something about something, don't comment on it. And that's exactly what Trump did. And that's what he does with a fair amount of shit that he doesn't know about. Hey, if he knows a little bit about something, like he does with the QAnon stuff, hey, I hear that they like me, and that's good. And yeah, so Facebook, if you are QAnon or QAnon adjacent or ethereally militia linked, you get banned off the platform. And that's not the only thing that Facebook's banning people for. Kyle Rittenhouse, a perfect example, mass murderer there. Yeah, this guy right here, yeah, gets kicked in the face, gets hit with a skateboard, has a gun pulled on him. You know, in self-defense, kills 2 people that would have killed him had he not been armed. And then, I forget which one in the photo here, ends up losing a bicep, which, oh boy, you know, it really keeps me up at night wondering if that Antifa piece of shit is ever going to be able to do a curl again, because God knows he's a gym frequenter. But this is Facebook for you. Yeah, Facebook removing posts supporting Kyle Rittenhouse. Company says shooting was a mass murder. Yeah. And Blaze does their little editorial job. Accused does not mean convicted, which is 100% correct. You know, if you read enough mainstream news, if you listen to enough mainstream media in general, you would really think that if you are of a conservative persuasion, that it really is guilty until proven innocent. But we all know in the intelligent Western countries, it is innocent until proven guilty. Unbelievable. But I did reference Twitter as well to begin with, and hey, Twitter keeps up just as well. Twitter bans far-right extremist group, the Oath Keepers. I'm not terribly familiar with the Oath Keepers, so let's take a look at this article. Twitter has banned the accounts of far-right extremist group, the Oath Keepers, and its founder, Stuart Rhodes. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which you should never believe are arbiters of truth in any sense of the word. If you don't know too much about the SPLC, just know that they are a leftist infected. They believe that everything is white supremacy. They are just an extension of BLM, to be completely honest at this point. The group is one of the US's largest anti-government movements. Since when is anti-government just far-right extremists? If you are anti-government, doesn't that mean that you would find yourself nowhere on the political spectrum? But, of course, Twitter, anybody who's not explicitly Black Lives Matter in their name, Antifa in their name, is going to get banned right away. And with Twitter and Facebook banning any sort of right adjacent, like I said earlier, you don't even have to be specifically right wing. Twitter and Facebook will give you a home, but yeah, if you are conservative in the least bit, let's just shorten it to that. Twitter and Facebook will, just nuke you from orbit. But there is one company out there who is at least standing up to Antifa. It's not Nike. It's not Goodyear. Fuck. You know what? It's good old Teespring. It says here right from Antifa International. Teespring just shut down our t-shirt fundraiser. Why? Because our shirts contain the word Antifa? And then, hey, at least Teespring has some balls. Teespring is not a fascist company. Due to all the recent increase of violent Antifa content, we have removed all Antifa-related listings until we are able to review the intent behind the designs. Reviewing the content will take some time, so we appreciate your understanding. And this was at the beginning of August. At least one company out there. I had to give companies at large their due in this video. At least somebody is standing up to these violent insurrectionists, these extremists. But hey, we got to get right back into it though. This is where things take a turn for the more political. You guys remember there was they called it the White Coat Summit, right? There was a bunch of doctors that got together and were sharing their stories of how hydroxychloroquine, Z-Paks, and zinc, when prescribed early to COVID patients, were showing miraculous results. It was showing a lower gestation period as well as less severe symptoms. And because that didn't conform with the, Chinese health organization's edicts at the time, Breitbart had the stream exclusively, and it was immediately turned off by Twitter, Facebook, and anywhere else it was published. It was immediately nuked. Like it says here in the video, members of the group America Frontline Doctors promote hydroxychloroquine as a preventative measure and a cure for COVID-19. Now, is it a cure? No, that's not what they were saying. That's what one less than sane doctor would go on to claim. But as it says here, the Chinese health organization says there's currently no proof that hydroxychloroquine is effective as a treatment or prevents coronavirus, until you actually ask the doctors who were on the front lines when they said that it was effective, and a vast majority of their cases, but once again, you have to go watch these videos. This is what social media and mainstream media at large is, well, doing more often than not now. It's framing anything that they can in order to censor you. Okay? And if it's not patently obvious at this point, man, it's only going to get worse. And this is where I think it's going to continue to escalate. If you didn't know, Twitter's new rule will flag if Trump claims early victory. What do they mean by early victory? The social media platform is expanding its policies against election-related misinformation, which is what they were doing with hydroxychloroquine. That was COVID-related misinformation. So if you put out that you were successfully treated with hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pax, and zinc, and my symptoms were, less severe because of it, immediately gets taken off of Facebook and Twitter. Anyways, it says here, Twitter said Thursday, time of this recording, so yeah, it was just last Thursday, it will label or remove posts that prematurely declare victory in the upcoming U.S. election, making it the latest social media company to set out a plan for a prolonged vote count and a president who appears primed to dispute results if he does not win. The social network's rules currently prohibit a narrower set of election-related tweets, including posts that stoke confusion about how votes and other forms of voter suppression. And the platform in recent months has flagged some tweets by President Trump and his allies that contained misleading information about mail-in voting. What was misleading about the fact? This is what they're referencing, by the way. I'll break it down. So if your state, this is state by state, by the way, if your state is doing mail-in voting en masse, if you receive a ballot and you send it in, you fill it out and send it in, and then on November 3rd, when it's time to go in and actually vote in person, if your vote has not been counted at that time, you can go in and vote in person. If it has been received and tallied by November 3rd, it will be marked off on the sheet and you cannot vote twice because that is a felony. What Trump was explaining in his 3-post Twitter thread, which is not deleted, but it is hidden behind, I forget what the proper terminology that there is on the tweets, but it is, you have to click through in order to view it. It is explaining just that. If you received an absentee, or, well, it's not even for absentee, it's just for mail-in. If you received the ballot and it has not been counted by the time of November 3rd, you can vote in person. And when they receive the mail-in ballot, it will not be counted because you have already exercised your constitutional rights to vote. So what the president was doing was spreading information about how this unprecedented time is actually going to be taking place. So this is another instance of the media just spinning what Trump says or what any right-wing individual is saying and doing, and immediately making it bad and immediately making it false. And if you've also been paying attention to any of the news as well, Joe Biden has been saying some very bizarre shit. He's been saying that he's been the only candidate that has been standing up for law and order and standing up for defending the police, just gaslighting people out in public. And I was concerned about this as soon as the riots started to turn bad for the Democrats. As soon as it started to show up in the polls, I was thinking, you know what? They are going to gaslight on it. It's patently obvious. They have the media has their backs on this one. Like, if they wanted to immediately switch the narrative that Trump is going to be, oh yeah, he's not the one. We've always been the ones to denounce the rioting. We've always been the ones for law and order. We want to keep you guys safe. Look at our track record. We've always done this. Don't look over there. Don't research anything in the past. And CNN, MSNBC, fuck, you don't even have to get that niche. ABC, CBS. NBC. They're all just going to run it. Joe Biden comes out in a miraculous speech in an empty warehouse to 4 people. And he says that he wants to defend everyone. He's going to defend the police. And, well, our final article here. 9 in 10 voters say civil unrest a key issue in presidential race. What it says here. The vast majority of voters in a new Harvard Caps Harris poll released exclusively to the Hill say civil unrest will be an important issue in the November election. More than 9 in 10 voters surveyed in the poll, 92%, said they thought the issue would be important in the presidential campaign and an election, including 52% who called it very important and 40% who viewed it as somewhat important. So, yeah, 92% of the people have a very strong opinion, at least have an opinion, that the riots are bad, and they will probably, a little bit of a leap here, they will probably be voting for the candidate who is standing up for law and order. And that's why the Democrats are gaslighting people on this. That is why they've did a 180 and all of a sudden been, oh yeah, no, peaceful protests to, yeah, violence is bad and we need to stop this. And this is happening in Trump's America. Don't you forget that. And see, that's what they do. It was just like with that shitty Atlantic article where, oh, Trump says bad things about the military, says that they're all suckers and losers, right? Because he said that John McCain was a loser. Well, guess what? He said John McCain was a loser, in fact, because he lost the 2008 election. And that's exactly what happened here in this original article. The sheriff says that Antifa has been lighting fires in Oregon. Anybody with a set of eyes and a search button available to them can see that Antifa has been starting fires for over 100 days. Okay? And all they needed to do was just, oh, look, there's a lot of wildfires out there. Wouldn't it be, boy, it would really help us sell some papers, and it would really help us get some clicks if we had somebody out there, somebody right of center saying Antifa was behind all of this. Hey, and guess what? A video comes out of a sheriff or sheriff deputy saying that, yeah, Antifa was causing a lot of fires. And, hey, there's wildfire smoke in the background. Let's make that link. It's disgusting, and the censorship just keeps getting worse, and now it has real-life ramifications. I usually am fairly optimistic at the end of these videos when I'm saying, you know, things are just gonna get to a crescendo in November, but man, things have been getting worse and more crazy when it comes to this censorship stuff, where as soon as you express an opinion that's outside of the rank and file of, yep, Black Lives Matter, don't look at the man behind the curtain. Yep, Black Lives Matter just means that Black Lives Matter, right? No. No, you stand up for what is right. You say what you mean. Because eventually these platforms, Twitter and Facebook especially, they're just going to keep trimming off everybody who has a dissenting opinion, and it's just going to become an echo chamber. It's going to look like Reddit, if you have any idea what they're like. But the video's gone on long enough, so I just wanted to keep you guys informed, because this censorship online is having real world effects. And man, it's the middle of September. It's only going to get more bonkers in the next few weeks here. So let's end it there. Thanks for taking time to watch this, guys. Censorship is very important to me, and hey, I'll be out here champion the other side as long as I possibly can. So I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you guys to follow your gut. Get after it. Take care, everyone.